You don't have time for SEO, so why would you have time for an intro? The first tip is using Google Suggest and Google Questions for keyword research. This is a very quick and effective way. Just type in your niche or a product or one of your services into Google, and Google Autocomplete will show you what people are searching for in relation to your product. Just use this information. In the beginning, it's not very important how big the search volume is, how the competition is. If you're just starting out doing SEO, just knowing what people search for is enough. And then when you actually search for it on Google, you can also see what kind of questions people are asking. Write down every single question, and if one of those questions is relevant to your business, answer it on your website. The same goes for tip number 2, which is to use Amazon Books. Amazon Books is a gold mine for keyword and audience research because people will tell you in book reviews exactly what they think is important or unimportant regarding your product or service. Let's say your product is mental health coaching. Just search for a very popular mental health book and go to the reviews. Amazon will even show you tags on popular topics that are mentioned over and over again in the reviews. You can use those tags to find what's actually important to your audience, and if you read through those reviews, you can actually find out very, very relevant questions that you can answer on your website, again, to get the keywords, get the audience, and get clicks from Google. Google Suggest and Amazon Reviews are great sources for keyword research, but if it's not your first day in business, you probably can use tip number 3, which is to answer your customers' questions. You probably have customers, you probably have spoken to customers, and they might ask you the same questions over and over again. Now, it's nice that you can answer these questions to your customers, but there's no reason not to answer these questions on your website, because that basically is just offline keyword research, just finding out what's interesting to your audience. And then if you answer all these questions on your website, first of all, you will find very valuable keywords because that's basically offline keyword research. If you get asked the same questions over and over again and you finally answer these on your website, customers will only contact you for the important questions, and you will gain their trust because most of their problems are solved before they even talk with you. Tip number 4 is to add obvious text. I often see it in e-commerce that there are products which are not titled correctly. You should use every detail of the product in the title that you can. The title shouldn't just be chair. It should be like white leather armchair with a relax function, for example. Or if you have a service-based business, like, you shouldn't write the best service in town. Write exactly what your service is about, who your target audience is, and what's so special about your service. I saw a lot of businesses who are very abstract and very indirect when it comes to the copy on their website, when they actually could use so much more relevant keywords by just writing what they actually do. Until now, I've talked about keyword research and texts, but another important part of SEO are backlinks. And backlinks are honestly not something that you can do in like under 10 minutes, but what you actually can do is collect your links. Because there's probably content about your products, about your brand, and about your services out there. For example, people on YouTube reviewing your product, or some local newspaper mentioning your name, or some competition you took part in who wrote about your business. There's a high probability out there that someone in the internet wrote something about your business or your products. Just email them and ask them to link to your website. Most times my customers had huge potential for links lying out there that they just weren't using because they didn't know that someone wrote about them, or they just didn't bother to email them. So collect your links. If you already get some traffic to your website, you can maximize that by using tip number 6, updating your meta title and meta description. Don't use meta keywords. Google doesn't use these anymore, and it's basically just fluff. So just update your meta title and meta descriptions. You should use something like SERP Simulator for it. Just Google SERP Simulator and use the first one. It will show you the limits of the meta title and the limits of meta descriptions. Respect that so your metadata will be displayed properly. And also I would advise you to use something like HTML icons in your meta description to make it more visible in SERP, to set your search engine listing apart from the others. For example, a little check mark or a little telephone icon, when it fits in your meta description, does wonders for your click-through rate. Tip number 7 is something that becomes more and more important because of tools like ChatGPT, Claude AI, and others. It's to remove fluff from your website. Remove content that doesn't serve an immediate value. I have seen so many 300-word articles outrank articles with several thousand words. It's not the amount of content anymore. It's not stuffing your content as much as you can. It's about quality nowadays. And your customer should go on your website and find his answer as fast as possible and as best as possible. And if he doesn't do it, he will go to another website and find it. So take an honest look on your website, take an honest look on your blog posts, and really think of yourself, if I would remove this part, would the meaning, the helpfulness of this piece of content really change? And most of the times, sadly, the answer is no. So remove fluff from your website. Alternatively to removing bad content, you could use tip number 8 and update it. Update your content so it's fresher and it's actually correct or more helpful. Most of the times it's hard to maintain a whole website by yourself. If you've written content before, blog posts for example, it's even harder. The world changes and your content might be outdated. I would advise you to go into the Google Search Console and use the Google Search Console if you don't use it yet, and just look at your most successful pages. These should be your highest priority targets when you think about updating your pages, just because they can have the most impact on your website. You can also look at pages that have a lot of impressions but very few clicks, because there's a lot of potential clicks to get here. Tip number 9 is to optimize your images, and you can do it in 2 ways. The first way is to optimize your images in size using something like Tiny PNG, so your images are smaller, the site loads faster, and therefore even people with like a bad internet connection can still use your site when they couldn't before. The second way is to add alt tags to your images. These are tags that are normally only used when someone who's blind uses the website. These are red then, but these are relevant for SEO. In the alt tag, you should just describe what is seen on the image. So if it's a green Nike shoe, for example, the alt tag should read green Nike shoe. Nothing else, nothing more. You should not stuff alt tags with irrelevant information. Just describe exactly what's on the image. And the last tip is something that I learned recently, but that has been very effective for me, and that's to add a sticky table of contents to your blog posts. I know it doesn't seem like a feature that you can implement in under 10 minutes, but there's a lot of templates for WordPress, Webflow, and other website tools that actually have this feature built in. So I would actually argue that it is something that you can execute in under 10 minutes, and the effect of that is great because through a sticky table of contents, first, your customer actually can use the table of contents anywhere in your blog posts, which is great if your blog post is very long. And second, it's a non-scammy way to use your keywords that you use in your headlines, double the amount in your whole blog post, because you can actually use your keyword in the headline once in your table of content and once in the content itself, which actually had a great impact on SEO when I tested it with customers. So these are 10 SEO tips that you can execute alone and in under 10 minutes. I hope you got some value from this video. If yes, feel free to leave a comment. And if you have some other SEO questions, I actually offer a completely free SEO consultation. And in 45 minutes, you could ask me anything about SEO, your business, or your content strategy. I will leave a link in the description where you can book a call, and it is actually completely free. I'm just doing that because I am looking to build up some testimonials, some people I can help, some people who can vouch for my consultation, because I will make that a paid offer in the future. So if it's the right moment for you, feel free to book a consultation, and I'm looking forward to meeting you. Bye.